Don't sleep on Dollar Tree wood. You can make some awesome Christmas DIY crafts. For this Pinterest-inspired project, we're going to need 5 of these Dollar Tree crates. I'm going to tape them off because I want to paint red and white on them, and I want to make sure it doesn't bleed into the other area. So I'm just going to do the top and the bottom with the red, and then I'm going to do the white in between. What we're going to make is a cute little winter Christmas kind of a train out of these. I'm going to paint the inside white as well, and then I do the 2 sides in the red and the bottom, and I'll do that to 4 of them. Then I forgot to film this, but I just took a white marker and I made like little snow drifts kind of on the side. Now I'm going to take the one I'm going to paint all red and then draw the snow drifts, and I'm going to attach it to the top of one of the 4 that I had already painted. And there you can see I did the little snow drifts all around. This is going to be the first car where the engine is on the train. I'm going to take these pipe cleaners or chenille stems that I got at the Dollar Tree. They were green. I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to twist them to make like a 3-strand cord. I'm going to cut them into smaller pieces, and we're going to use these to attach the cars of the train. I'm going to take my 3-strand cord, if you will, and I'm going to cut it into thirds. That way I have 1 piece to attach each of the cars. I'm going to fold them in half and use a ton of hot glue. Wait till they dry, and then I'm going to cover the top with hot glue as well, just to make sure it's on there really, really solid. Not that we're going to really be playing with this. It won't have working wheels. And then I lifted up the other 3 cars so it would be the same height as the first one, and I did the same thing. So there you see. This is super easy. It's really just paint. And then I've got these cute little peppermint candies. I also got these at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to put 4 wheels on each car. I'm also going to do headlights and taillights. So here's our little train, each piece attached. Now I've got a cork that I painted red that I had left over. I had painted too many for another project. I'm going to glue that to the top with a cotton ball kind of spread apart to look like the steam from the train. I'm going to take my white paint marker and I'm just going to draw kind of like the windshield on the front there. And now I'm attaching those little candies to make the headlights. And like I mentioned, I'll also be doing the tail lights. This is so easy. It's just adorable when you're done. It would look so cute on a shelf somewhere. And you could decorate it with all kinds of cute things. I found some things around in my Christmas stash that I had. Just for fun, I put candy canes, bells, little person who's the driver, and it just turned out so cute. I've got a little Bible ornament in there. I love this one. Let me know what you think. For this project, I've got 1 of the crates, and then I'm going to use some red and black paint. And I'm just going to paint the bottom portion and the top portion in the red and the middle section in the black. We're going to make the cutest little Santa jacket crate. Oh my gosh, it's adorable. Another Pinterest inspiration. And we're just going to go around the center there. You can tape it off if you want. I decided this time to just be super careful. And actually, I did a pretty good job. I just had a little teeny bit of cleanup to do. No big deal. I did tape the sides because that was a little trickier. There was no guide there. Off camera, I did put a little bit of white paint in those lines between. I forgot to film that, but anyway, you don't have to. I just did. And then I'm going to go around and sand around the edges to give it a little more of a distressed look. I kind of like the way that looks on there. So now that that part is all done and it's ready to go, we're going to take some gold metallic paint. First, I'm going to draw a little belt buckle on it. It's just a rectangle that you just kind of draw the box on the inside. I didn't do the little clip part. I decided just to do that one little spot there. I'm just going to very carefully do a couple coats with the gold in there. And again, just take a very small art brush so that you don't like overpaint, and go very slow. If you had a paint marker that was gold, I think that would be an easy way to do it too. Mine has since dried up and I have to get a new one, and I just didn't realize it. Now I'm going to take a white paint marker and I'm just going to use my own printing. You could use a cutting machine or stickers, and we're just going to write "Here Comes" on the top and Santa Claus on the bottom. Now, obviously, this is just for fun. Occasionally, I'll get somebody who will say something like, if you're a Christian, how can you do Santa Claus? Well, it's just for fun. I don't worship Santa Claus. I worship Jesus. So just to make that clear, if anyone's wondering, I don't think many people are, but just in case. And this is just a cute, fun thing. Kids love it. And of course, we still teach them the truth at some point when they're ready to understand it. On the back, I'm just going to put a bunch of ho-ho-hos all over it. I just thought that would be a super cute way to make a two-sided piece, which I love. And then in the center, I'm going to write Merry Christmas just in cursive. And that's it. Super easy. If you don't feel like you can print nicely, you could always type it out and use like carbon paper to trace on the back and then write over it. Whatever you want to do, it's just fine. I've got a cute little buffalo check bow that was from Walmart already made. I just trimmed it, put it on the right side, and I'm going to put a little mini pine cone right in the center just to dress it up a little bit. And then I need to trim that bow because I don't want it to cover any of the words that I wrote. I'm really loving how this looks. I think it came out so cute. And again, another really easy Pinterest-inspired project for you. I hope you like it and will consider trying it. For this Pinterest-inspired project, we're just going to take one crate, and then I've got some black construction paper. I'm going to use my white paint. You can use any white paint you want. I'm going to paint the entire thing white, inside, outside, everything. Now, once I've got that painted, I am going to take a little bit of this chalkboard black paint, and I'm just going to brush it across and dry brush. So, that's where you put a little bit on your brush, wipe most of it off, and then drag it across. I just want to make it look like it's outside and been dirty. We're going to make a cute little snowman. And snow doesn't stay white very long with everybody playing with it and cars driving by. So I figured we'd go ahead and mess it up a little bit. Using the crate as my guide, I'm going to trace about 3/4 of an inch around the crate to make the bottom brim part of a snowman's hat. And then I'm also going to make a circle. I'm just using some tape to do that. And then I'm going to cut another rectangular piece that we're going to wrap around. We need to make a little snowman hat. So we've got that top piece, and then we're just going to kind of measure this around the circle so we can see how big we want it to be. Took a couple of times trimming it to get it to the size that I wanted. So there is the bottom of the hat, and I'm going to go ahead and glue that to the open side, which is the bottom of the crate. Now I'm going to bend that rectangle, and I'm going to figure out how big to make it for the circle that I cut. I'm going to glue it so it looks like just a little round piece now. Put some hot glue on the top, and we're going to add the very top of our hat right there. We will trim away the excess. I'm going to take a black marker. I'm going to draw some eyes. And since it's already a white snowman, we don't have to fill in the white part, just the black. I'll take a bright orange marker and make the nose. This is so easy and so cute. And now I will trim the very top of the hat. This would be fun to do with grandkids and kids, I think, because it's very easy and the end result is very, very cute. Going to make sure my seam is nice. I'm going to add a beautiful black and white buffalo check ribbon to the bottom of the top part of the hat, just to give it a cute little, dressing up. And then I'll cut off any excess. And now I'm just going to put hot glue all around that bottom portion, and I will just hot glue it right to the top of the brim of his hat, or her hat, whichever way you want to go. I've got this beautiful star that came off of a clip from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to attach it right there. And then I'm going to take my white paint and I'm going to go around and kind of flock it and put snow where I think it would land, like on the top of his hat and around the edges and so forth. Just for fun. Of course, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. We're going to add a little bit of Christmas greenery. It's got like sparkles on it and glitter. And we're just going to add that to the side of his little snowflake just for embellishment. And And then I'm going to add a couple of cute little pine cones that I got at the Dollar Tree. I love those little mini pine cones. They really come in handy. I put them on so many things for Christmas crafting. And isn't he cute? I really like him. So easy to make. Wouldn't that be cute on a tiered tray? I definitely think the kiddos would have a lot of fun making this with you. Let me know what you think. For this project, inspired by Pinterest, we're also going to use one crate and my antique wax. I'm going to paint the wax on the entire thing and then wipe it away like as if it were a stain. That's one of my favorite ways to use it. It just shows the wood grain. Even on these little crates, you can still see wood grain, and I think it gives it a really nice look. It's not too dark. So we'll finish the whole thing off. I did the inside as well. Now I've got these stencils from Couture, and they say naughty and nice, and then I've got some twine. We're also going to use that. I cut out the stencils, and I'm just going to put them right on the center of each side. Make sure they're adhered really well. I know there's those lines in there, so that we're going to, see that paint doesn't go in there, but that's okay. You can still read the words, no problem. I'm going to take some white paint. Doesn't have to be chalk paint. It can be acrylic, whatever you want. I don't use the paste. I just use the paint. And then I pull it off, and look at that. Oh my gosh, I love that part. I'm becoming a little bit addicted to these kind of silkscreen stencils. They are awesome. Anyway, and there is the naughty side, and then you go wash those right away, and they come off really easy just with water. Then I'm going to take the twine and I'm going to wrap it around like 3 times because I just love that look. I think it's so cute. And once I get it wrapped around 3 times, we'll just go ahead and hot glue it and cut off the excess. I am trying to keep it in a certain spot in the middle, so I used a dab of hot glue on the bottom just to kind of secure it. And now we're on the last one. And then we will just attach that to the bottom, cut off the excess, and there we have our cute little trim with that jute. Now I've got a beautiful kind of burgundy colored flower. I'm going to add some greenery to this just to give it more of a festive Christmas look. These are like frosted evergreens. I've got some that have glitter on them, some that just have like kind of snowy look, whatever's in my stash. I haven't bought new Christmas greenery this year because I had so much left. I'm going to see how I can do using it up. And then I'm going to add some pine cones also. I want this to be a 2-sided piece, so I'll make sure you can see a pine cone from each side. I think that's going to look super, super cute. And then I have these glitter branches from the Dollar Tree. So I just cut little teeny pieces. This one is silver glittered, and they come in red, gold, and silver if you can find them. And they're great for embellishment and little accents just to give something, kind of that Christmassy, winter, festive look. So I like adding those wherever I can. I just think it makes things a little bit more interesting. And you don't have to add those kind of things unless you love them and want to. That's it for this one. Now that was so easy and it came out cute. Again, another Pinterest inspired craft for Christmas. I hope you like it. Found this adorable wood house at the Dollar Tree, and I decided kind of looks like a gingerbread house. And I'm just going to take some Rust-Oleum chalked linen white paint. You can use any white paint you want. I'm going to use some other colors to do the windows and the trees, of course, and then there's little Christmas lights on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and paint it the way I want, and you can do the same with yours. You can do any colors, any style you want. I went kind of more like traditional, I guess, with this one, and I love this piece because it's got so many little details. I love the windows. We're going to go ahead and make those little window frames black, I decided, because then the snow, which is the white, gives a stark contrast. Then I'm going to go ahead and paint the trees with my fern color chalk paint. Again, any green or actually whatever color you want will do. Just going nice and slow to try to stay within those lines and using a very small art brush to do that. The house reminds me a little bit of a gingerbread house. I'm going to use the hazelnut paint color on the rest of the house. I just have found that color reminds me the most of gingerbread. If you have a color, of course, that you prefer, then definitely use that. Now I'm going to take some burnt umber and I'm just going to do the stems of the Christmas trees. I wanted that to be a slightly darker brown and I'm just using a really small brush to do that. I'm going to take a bunch of primary colors of paint and I'm going to paint all the different Christmas lights in those colors. And then I'm going to take a white paint marker and I'm just going to create little snowdrifts. Now, I did not have any puffy paint. I do think puffy paint would be the best for this. And I need to get some because I've been wanting to use it for years and I don't know why I always forget to buy it when I'm out at the craft store. So anyway, I hope I remember next time because it does look better with the puffy paint. The other trick you could do is take hot glue and then paint that white after you put it on. I've got a little piece of scrap wood around and I'm going to paint it black and then use some Fix-All adhesive and hot glue and we're going to put it on as the door. This house didn't have a door and I really felt like it needed one. And then I'm going to take a little red bead from a bead necklace I got at the Dollar Tree and put that on as the door handle. And I will cover the whole thing with the clear spray and that will seal it. I love how this house turned out. It's so cute. Be sure to keep watching so you can see what I do with it at the very end. Let me know what you think of this one. I have this adorable snowman wood cutout from the Dollar Tree. It's like a little stand, I guess. I'm going to take some ink chalk paint, which is basically black, and I'm just going to do his mouth and then outline some of him and do his hat, of course. I'm going to paint him pretty much like a traditional snowman would be painted. Used a very fine art brush to get in between the snowflake pieces there. Otherwise, that would have been very difficult to do. I'm going to take some pumpkin chalk paint, which is just orange, and I'm going to go ahead and do his nose. I don't know about you, but sometimes I find it very relaxing to watch someone paint, so I hope this is doing that for you. And I'll take some white paint, pick any white paint you want, and I'm going to do the rest of the snowman's face and the snowflake on the top of his hat. Decided to add some red to that little part at the top of his hat there. Well, actually just below the top of the hat and above the brim, because I thought that would add a nice pop of color and I love doing that. Otherwise, a snowman doesn't have a lot of color other than his nose. I'm going to touch up the snowflake with a white paint marker. I just thought that might help define it a little bit more. I'm also going to take a black marker and just try to touch up my little circles for his mouth. I don't have the steadiest hand. I wish I did. And sometimes it just gets a little jaggedy around the edges. So I thought I would just do whatever I could to try to clean up, with markers and see if that would maybe make it look a little bit more defined. But do whatever works for you. I'm also going to go around the outline of his eyes with the black marker as well. And then I decided to just finish off the edges with the black. I know it blends in with the hat, but I just thought it really added to, the way he looks. It kind of made him pop a little bit more. Now I'm just going to take a little spatula and remove that stick on the back. I really don't need it for this project. You can leave it in if all you're making is the snowman, but I'm going to use this for another piece afterwards that I'm going to show you, so I want you to stick around. Isn't he cute? I really love how he turned out. I've got this cute little Santa wood piece from the Dollar Tree, and I like that he has layers on him. I'm going to take some red paint, and I'm going to do the berries. And then I'll be using white and red and black, to fill in the rest of Santa, just like what you would imagine. And again, I went very traditional for him. So there's the hat, and we'll just continue painting the rest of him. I think this would be a fun project to do with kids. I also blended some white and red to make pink nose and cheeks. And then I used another color that's kind of flesh tone, sort of in between a peach and a brown. And I thought that would be a nice color. And I just put that on there and did his mouth with the pink. Then I'm going to take my green paint and just go ahead and fill in those leaves. Now, I'm not going to worry about being 100% exact on this because I am going to go around with a black marker. I'm going to go around his eyes, and then I'm also going to go around some of the other pieces with a thinner marker just to outline them and give them a little more dimension. Now, the end piece there, I'm also going to do with the black. I really like making the rest of them pop, and I think that looks really, really cute. And then here's a finer point marker, and I'm going to go around and just outline some of the other parts of him. I just felt like they needed a little bit more definition. Of course, this is optional. You don't have to do this. But as I go around the leaves, I'm also going to do the veins inside because that got lost when I painted green over it. It was in the cutout itself. So this is just one way to preserve that. And I thought it looked really pretty. And also outlining the berries really made them pop as well. Just remember, the things I do are just for inspiration. You don't have to do them exactly unless you want to. This is just to give you ideas and get your creative juices flowing. And then I'm going to remove the stick from the back because I don't need it, but if you do, you go ahead and leave it on there. And I'm just using a little spatula to do that. That usually works the best. I'm going to take clear glaze on all these pieces that I'm making today, and I'll take care of that outside. Isn't he adorable? I just love these little cutouts. They're so cute. I love the wood. Found this cute little reindeer at the Dollar Tree. It's another wood piece, and we're just going to go ahead and use different paint colors to turn him into an adorable little Rudolph. And I say Rudolph because I am going to make his nose red. So I used several different colors to give him more dimension. So I think I used fawn, and then I used some burnt umber, and, just whatever I had in my stash that would give me different shades of beige and brown. You know how deer look. And then I'm going to use white for the pom-pom and his hat. And I used kind of a cashew color, I believe it is, for his antler. And then I'll make the berries red with green leaves. The cashew color was actually, my paint was drying up, but it gave it more texture too. So I thought that was kind of fun. See how that is there for the antlers to have a little different texture than the rest? So that's how that worked out. But now I know I need some more cashew chalk paint because I love that color. I'm just going to go ahead and paint in with a fine art brush the rest of the details that we need. Then I'll take some red and I'll do the berries and, of course, his little Rudolph nose and mouth. And for these parts, I'm just taking my time and just going kind of slow and more like making dots to get in there than painting straight across. Whatever works. I'm going to outline his eyes with the white. Now, I could have done the black on that like I did on the other one, but I decided he should look a little different. And then I'm going to take a black marker and outline the whole piece, where it has that edge. I'm going to take a finer tip marker and I'm just going to outline all the different sections of him, draw the veins in the leaves, and just, kind of add that dimension and make him pop like I did with the other pieces that we're using. I cannot wait to show you what we do with all of these pieces today. It's going to be adorable. And I even went and outlined his mouth because I felt like once I outlined everything else, I really needed to do that. And there he is, all painted. We're going to remove that stick because we don't need it for this project, but of course you leave it on if you do. And I'm just using my spatula to get rid of that. We'll spray him with the clear glaze outside, and there he is. He looks adorable. You'll have to let me know what you think of him and get ready for what we're going to do for the big project. I've got this long piece of MDF board that we're going to use, and I got this, I think, at the hardware store. Anyway, you can find these in different places, and of course, they're not expensive at all. So we're going to use this as a porch leaner. We're going to take the house we made and the other wood pieces that we had, the Santa, the Snowman, and the reindeer, and we are going to position them with hot glue and fix all adhesive so they really stay onto this board that I did paint green off camera. I also sprayed the board with a clear glaze, but we'll spray the whole thing again at the end. I've also got some chalk couture stencils that I cut up, and we're just going to place them in different spots and go ahead and paint on them in between each of the wood pieces to create this beautiful porch leaner. And I'm so excited for how this is going to turn out. I've got little snowflakes, little just things that were on a longer stencil that I cut up. And of course, you want to paint on and then pull off the stencil pretty quick. You don't want the paint to dry, otherwise it doesn't go through. And then you go wash your stencil right away with warm water and it comes right off. So next, we're going to add the snowman. I think this is just going to be so adorable. And because it's going to be outside, I definitely wanted more than just hot glue. You could use any other strong adhesive glue. That's why I picked the Fix-All. And then we're going to add some more stencils, this cute little coffee cup, more stars, snowflakes, just all kinds of fun things. I decided I would only use white for the paint since we've got so much color going on here with all the other pieces. And I didn't want to make it, so busy that you wouldn't appreciate each of the pieces. But you know what? You do what you want with your porch leaner. You guys, I love these stencils. They just come out so good. Anyway, time for Santa to go on. Because of the green background, I ended up painting the inside of the eyes that were on there with the black, and then I added some white with my paint marker just to give the eyes more personality. And I sealed the whole thing again with this polyacrylic coating. And there's the finished piece. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so bright and festive and fun, and it was really easy to make. You'll have to let me know if this is something you would like to try. Are you ready for more inspiration? I've got another video here I think you will really like. Click on it. I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye.